Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders for preaching His word truthfully and sincerely, and shalom to the Akim scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well too. And I say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is a sit-down lesson that I want to bring out of this recent news article from RT.com in the business news category as of April 27, 2023, and it reads, Yuan overtakes dollar in China's cross-border payments. The Chinese currency was used in 48.4% of Beijing's international settlement figures have shown. It says the yuan has surpassed the US dollar to become the most used currency in China's cross-border transaction last month. Reuters reported on Wednesday, citing officials' data. Cross-border payments and receipts in Yuan surged from 434.5 billion in February to a record of 549.9 million. 49. Yeah, that's good news.
Yes, you got a thing. I don't want to take my shovel to do.
Right.
On the floor house.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep them over there.
Right.
I'm happy for it.
Yeah, I'm at 4 too. Yeah. And I'm gonna read it again. It says the yuan surpassed the US dollar in becoming the most used currency in China's cross-border transaction last month. Reuters reported on Wednesday, citing official data. Cross-border payments and receipts in the yuan surged from 434.5 billion in February to a record 549.9 billion in March, according to the calculations by the outlet based on data from the State Administration of Foreign Exchange. It said the Chinese currency was used 48.4% of all cross-border transactions, reflecting a shifting away from the dollar, as well as Beijing efforts to promote the use of the yuan, right? Because you got Russia and China as allies doing exchange for oil, purchasing oil, exporting and importing of both transactions. Then you had recently Brazil and China, they doing partnership, and many other countries that doing trade partnership with China as well too. So as of last month, you had the current exchange from the money of yuan from China. It has surpasses the use of the American dollar, as being a top global use and dependent on currency, As you keep in note as well too, especially, we've been mentioning this previous times for the past couple of weeks, you've been seeing the nations turning away from the American dollar. And, and the brick nations as well too, constantly, continuously turning away from the American dollar. I just want to add a note to that. Yeah, true. And it says the Chinese currency was used 48.4% of all cross-border transaction, reflecting a trend of shifting away from the American dollar. Right, so the nations are turning away from the American dollar right along with the euro dollar as well too, as the nations are turning away and ditching the American dollar, because you had India and Bangladesh swayed away and ditched the American dollar right along with the other countries as well too, as these nations are partnering up of an economic alliance, and coming with. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Said she got 3 bedrooms.
Oh, that's good.
That's what
Right.
Happy for
Yeah, me too. Salakia for that, but continue on with the reading. I'm gonna read it again for edification's sake. I was talking to one of my family members. My apology on that once again. Continue on with the reading. Like I mentioned before, it says the Chinese currency was used 48.4 all cross-border transaction, reflecting a new trend shifting away from the dollar, as well as Beijing efforts to promote the use of the yuan. The share of the greenback Chinese international settlement drops from 48.6% in February to 46.7% last month. The volume of the cross-border transactions covers uh, uh, right. The volume of the cross-border transaction covers both currency and capital accounts. The outlet says although the shares of the yuan is global settlements is still relatively low and has been steady on the rise over the past several years. It says China attempts to move away from the dollar in international trade has speed up against the backdrop sweeping sanctions imposed by the Western nations against Russia and major global energy producers and export India policymakers have also stepped back towards shifting away from the greenback to rupees and rupees in mutual trade with Moscow. Russia has been boosting its use of alternative currency in transactions since last year. President Vladimir Putin has suggested that Chinese yuan should be used more widely, not only trade with China, but also in trade with transactions with countries in Africa and Latin America. The latest data from the Bank of Russia shows that the yuan has become a major player in Russia's foreign trade. Right, so as we continue to see the nations are turning away from the American dollar, now you have China has surpassed the United States as a top global currency, as a greenback by the American dollar as a top currency reserve, which the nations used to depend on. Now you have China surpassing the United States currency with uh, currency uh, global reserve of currency. Now it's being surpassed it within the last month or so, as the data statistic shows that. So that's another increasing prime example that the nations are consistently turning away from the American dollar, and they are ditching the American dollar as well too, right along with the euro dollar as well too, as we're about to entering this new form of currency, which is the central digital bank currency, and all these other nations are going to follow that lead as well too, because we're about to entering in the time of this new form of currency, which is that central digital bank currency. As we're getting closer and closer living out the book of Revelation. And this is a major prophecy soon to come, which is that MOTB, that MARK, for a prime example. And this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, and it reads through the Holy Scriptures. And it calls it all, both small and great, rich or poor, free or bond, to receive a MARK, which is the Karagma, in their RIGHTHAND, or in their FOREHADS. Revelations 13 and 17, and it reads through the Holy Scriptures, and that no man and that no man might buy or sell, say he had the MARK, which is, the Karagma, new form of currency, CHIP, prime example, or the name of the BEAST, which is his current system, or the name of his, or the number of his name. Revelation chapter 13, verse 18, and it reads through the Holy Scriptures, here is wisdom, let him have understanding, count the number of the BEAST, for it is the number of a man, and his number is SIX, 103 score SIX. Yep, this current BEAST system what's soon to come, this MARK. That's why they're constantly, consistently pushing this new form of currency. That's why you see the nations coming with their other alternatives of currency, with the Chinese yuan and the rubies and rupee, gold and silver. That's going to be valued as currency. As the nations once again turning away and ditching the American dollar and euro dollar as well too. So, hey, we're entering that time of this is going to be a new form of currency, buy or sell, transactions of this CHIP, this MARK, which is that charagma. This is going to be a new form of currency. So that's what's coming very soon. So with that, this was just a sit-down lesson that I wanted to bring out of this recent news article as the currency of China surpasses the American dollar as of last month, as the data statistic shows that. It said, I'm going to repeat it again. It says Yuan overtakes dollar in China's cross-border payments. The Chinese currency was used 48.4% of Beijing's international settlement figures have shown. So with that, hopefully this lesson was edifying, like I mentioned again. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders for preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim scattered in the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well too. And until next time, I would say shalom.